got 2 years. We've got 48 years going on 49-year marriages. We have folks who are saying, my husband is a gift from God. Yes. Amen. And that's what we want to hear. We want to hear people who are on fire in their relationships, on fire for their marriages, and still going strong. I love it. So thank you much, Dr. Tori. And like Dr. Tori said, what we're going to do, I'm going to introduce the next speaker, and then at the end, we're going to have you guys. So think of any questions that you may have for Dr. Tori, and also any questions that you may have for the up and coming speaker. Put them in the chat, and I will gather them, and we will ask the questions of the speakers towards the end. So stay on here for lots of your love questions. All right, I'm loving it. So thank you so much. So next up, we have Evanye Lawson. Some of you guys may remember her if you were a part of the mindfulness experience that we had a few months ago. She spoke on relationships there, and folks were loving her. She was phenomenal. So we have brought her back. Evanye Lawson, LPC, is a licensed love and relationship psychotherapist and New Thought speaker who lovingly calls herself a love propagandist. She teaches women and couples how to deepen their relationships with self, spirit, and each other. She is the owner of the Self-Love Center, which is an online center offering classes on sex, relationships, wellness, non-dual spirituality, and self-love. So once again, we got something for the married couples, something for the singles, something for those who are contemplating or looking for, trying to manifest the love of your life. So here we are, Evanye. We'd love to welcome you with your heart, with your hands. Welcome Evanye Lawson, center stage here.
Hey everybody, thank you, Denadra. That was a beautiful introduction. And thank you, Hillside, for allowing me to be a part of this breakthrough, beautiful event. 49 hours. How y'all feeling? We are almost at the tail end of these 49 hours here. And so I'm so glad that I get a chance to be able to deliver a powerful message to you today about creating alchemy inside of your relationship, even when there is friction. And so type a 1 in the comments. Let me know that you are ready to go ahead and learn some of these ascension keys for relationship alchemy. I'm going to teach you 3 ascension keys that I think are simply powerful and simply needed for you to dive deeper into your relationships to create the breakthrough that you are desiring. And like all of the beautiful speakers have said before, cool, you ready? Yes, let's get it. All of the beautiful speakers said before, I will be presenting you some options at the end for how to work with me, because I would love to keep in touch with all of you. And you can head on over to my website at theselflovecenter.com. Okay, so go ahead, type in the comments. Let me know if you are ready to ride. Type "let's ride" in the comments. Let's get it on. Okay, so I want to take you on a journey. All right, so just sit here for a moment. I want to take you on a journey. I want to take you on a journey of relationships. A journey about how we start and how we end up. So I want you to just imagine it, okay? When you meet someone and it feels so good, you both are simply just the right kind of person for each other. You feel inspired by each other. It feels so new. It feels so good. This person feels like the right person. They feel like the right one, and it almost feels like magic, right? And it's the perfect chemistry cocktail where all those happy chemicals are coming online. You got your oxytocin and your serotonin and the dopamine is just flowing inside of you. You are in bliss. You tell your friends about them, you tell your family about them, you pretty much tell everybody about them because you're just so excited for them. You believe in them, you believe they believe in you, you both believe in each other's dreams, and then you get comfortable. And then that comfort turns into every day just feels like another day with this person, right? And pretty soon those days feel like they get boring. They get problematic. You both have said things to each other that has built resentment. You both have communicated things to each other that you wish you could take back, but the tension is there. The resentment has been built. And now you looking at that other person and you looking at them and going, how did I end up with you? I don't want to be with you. Why are we doing this together? Right? Let me know in the comments. Type of one if you've been there before. If you done looked at the person, you woke up and you looked at them and you just shook your head like, Let me know. Type of one in the comments below, okay? Yes, yeah, y'all got it. Some ones, right? So you do everything, right? You try to make it work, okay? But all you can see are their flaws. That's all you can see. It's hard to look past the problem. Now all you're seeing is the problem, and you seeing them as the main problem. You like, if they would just fix this one thing right here, we'd be good, but you're not playing fair. You're not on my side. So you out here and you annoying the mess out of me, right? You start wondering, is this the right relationship for me? Did I choose the right person? Am I in the right relationship? What am I doing here? Right? You both start dancing around each other, trying not to cause disapproval or the wrath or an argument with one another. You're trying to communicate. It just seems like you can't stay in communication. Somebody wants to communicate, the other person doesn't want to communicate, and it just causes more problems upon problems, right? Yeah, somebody's saying in the comment, 24 years October, come on. Sometimes those long terms, you've been there when you look at that person and you like, but you love them anyway, right? Yeah. So this is usually when you hit that oh my God space. You literally hit the point of, do I stay or do I go? Because you start to feel these aspects creeping up inside of this relationship, causing tension and causing you to feel like this may not be where you want to be. This may not feel like you want to spend the rest of your life doing this with this person at this time period, right? So guess what? We call that friction. That friction that you are feeling is the breakthrough. Ooh. That's the breakthrough. The moment that you are in the cocoon phase, that part where it feels so hard, it feels so tough, it feels so tight, that's the moment when you're entering into a breakthrough. Now, Carl Jung has a beautiful quote, and he says, everything that irritates you about others can lead us to an understanding about ourselves. I'm going to say that again. Everything that irritates us about somebody else can lead us to an understanding about ourselves, right? So this leads me to the very first ascension key for relationship alchemy. And I'm going to read this, and you're going to go ahead and, you got your pen, you got your paper, y'all got it from the last speaker, so go ahead and write this down, because this is going to be 3 ascension keys for relationship alchemy, and this is the very first one, okay? The very first one. Everything in my life is put here to grow me. Nothing in my life is put here against me, even if it feels incongruent to what I feel and how I'm living. Now, I put that in the comments section so you can go ahead and have that. Everything in my life is put here to grow me. Nothing in my life is put here to be against me, even if it feels incongruent to what I feel and how I'm living. Okay? So let me know what you think about that, right? So you see, we get caught up in this idea that we know more than the next person. we get caught up in this, right? Let me know in the comments and go team self-righteous. Team self-righteous. How many of y'all could be self-righteous out there? Now, don't leave me hanging. I know I'm self-righteous. I know you can be too. We are putting ourselves in the expert seat, and we're looking at that other person in our relationship that we are with, and we're looking at them like, I know better than you. Because if you would just listen to me, then everything would be just fine. Everything would just be fine. It'd be hunky-dory, right? Team self-righteous, thank you. Yeah, right? That's because when we are in this space, we believe that we're better than the other person. We believe that because you're nothing like me, therefore I should go ahead and correct you. I should go ahead and pull out the flaws that I see to get you in alignment because I love you. How many of you said that? I say these things and I want these things because I love you. Remember, when you are with that person and you look over at them and they're just being annoying, you just look at, they just breathing and breathing in annoyance. You're just like, oh, there you go. You just woke up again and now you out here just doing the things and go back to sleep, right? Go back to sleep. But here's the thing, if we're cut from the same cloth, then isn't that person me? If we're cut from the same cloth, then isn't that person me? Aren't they simply just highlighting aspects of me? You see, sometimes the person we are afraid to get close to, the ones that we are afraid to open up, seems like the person we can't trust because of maybe what they've done or what they haven't done. But what you're really saying is, I can't get close to myself. I can't get close to me. I can't get comfortable because I'm too afraid to get close to myself. I'm afraid that if I choose to see you and see that your problems, all the things that I think are flaws, all the things that I dislike about you, all the friction that you bring to this table, if I choose to look at you and see myself, if I look at you and see you in me, then what does that mean for me? What does that make me, right? And when you start to look at another person from this empathy lens, you start to look at them from what I call the God lens. When you look at that person and you see them as God and you see yourself as God, then all you know is that there's nothing wrong. Even if it feels problematic to you, it's nothing wrong. Everything just is as it is. And this is why I call this a breakthrough. Because when you think about it, when two people get together, I don't know what that noise is in the background. I don't know if you all can hear that noise in the background. When two people are getting together, they bring their baggages to the table, okay? You have one person bring one bag to the table, the other person brings another bag to the table, and then y'all get into each other's bag and you start pulling out the things that you're like, okay, this looks like me, and oh, okay, this looks like me too. But then you start to pull out stuff in their bag that doesn't feel like you. And they start to pull out stuff in their bag that doesn't feel like you either. And you start to look like, there's some differences here. And we call this difference problems, but in reality, they're just the mirror. They are just the mirror of you. Because now that you've been placed with this friction point, now that you're rubbing up against each other, you've been attracted to them, you like them, they feel good to you, everything has felt amazing, and now you're at that point where you're just comfortable and things start to feel like it's going wrong and you're in your breakthrough. That is because now a mirror has been placed in your face, in front of you, giving you the opportunity now to decide to look at yourself in the mirror with eyes wide open. Type a comment in the section below and let me know. I want to see myself eyes wide open. I want to see myself eyes wide open. Because if I'm leading with the understanding that you are God and that I am God and that you can never do anything wrong to me, that there is no right or wrong, things just are, then all I can really say is I'm looking at a mirror reflection of myself. I'm looking at the projection of who I really am. I'm looking at the projection of who I really am. Am I willing to look at myself with eyes wide open through you? You see, the reason why we've attracted this person in our lives is not simply because we like them, We've attracted them because they are put here to grow us, right? And this leads me to the second ascension key. All right? Listen, what are y'all saying in the comments? Somebody said, look in the mirror and don't look away. That's right. Look in the mirror and don't look away. See yourself eyes wide open. Yeah, right? Okay, sometimes the mirror reflection is not so pretty. Exactly, right? You got to think about it. We create our realities all the time. And we're going to talk about that a little later, but I'm getting off track. Y'all got me excited, okay? All right, so let's move on to the second ascension key, okay? Because if I'm leading with the understanding that all things are put here to grow me and there's nothing put on in this life against me, including the person I am in a relationship with. I'm gonna say that one loud and clear, including the person that I'm in a relationship with. We demonize the person so much. We don't do this to our friends. We do this to the person that we are in relationship with. Why is that? We'll talk more about that, right? If I'm leading from this understanding that all things are put here to grow me, then what I'm really saying is that the purpose of relationships is growth. It's not love like you think it is, right? Love is just who we are. Love is the vibration that we walk in. Love is, it just is. It's not an emotion. Love is not an action. There's currencies of love. That's beautiful. There's sensations that make us feel good. But usually when we talk about loving somebody, we forget that love also looks like those friction points. It looks like that hard, tough, rough patch. Because what we do is we limit love. We put a box and the conditions on love. We say that love only looks a certain way. That's how you know. It looks like you're happy, it's light, it feels bubbly inside, and is that not a condition? So what happens when you don't feel that sensation anymore? What happens? You're supposed to just stop loving the person? But if God said love is unconditional, then didn't God also say that including the happy, beautiful, bubbly sensations that you might get when you are in love, that I also brought in friction and pain and sometimes a little chaos and a little drama to get you to the space where you can see love not just an emotion, to see love outside of a box, to see love as an expansion of who you are just because this is who you are? If we're leading from that space, then all relationships, again, are put here to grow us. So the second ascension key is that in order for me to grow, friction is necessary. In order for me to grow, friction is necessary. Let me put this in the comments here. In order for me to grow, friction is necessary, which means problems don't exist. They're just opportunities for growth. Problems don't exist. They're just opportunities for growth. Now, some of y'all might have a little issue with that, right? It's a play on words, right? Problems. Of course we've got problems. Of course we've got issues. Of course these things come up for us. This is normal. But when we're met with the problem, we get to go, look at that. Look at God working through this person. They're trying to show me where I need to grow. Not where the other person needs to grow. They're trying to show me where I need to grow. If I'm looking at you, it's because of, and I don't like what I see. It's because there's an aspect of me that needs to be resurrected, removed, released, redirected to create a new narrative, a new perception, a new reality for what I say I want. That's where the relationship is allowing you to grow, okay? So when that happens, when you're at this friction point, I call it this tight space. And some of us have been here. Like, we're in this pandemic right now where it feels very tight for a lot of us. Everybody's going through their own personal pandemic. The world at large is going through its own personal pandemic. The world at large is going through a breakthrough. Some of you have been forced to be with your spouses and see them more often than you wanted to, because before you were going out and going to work, you could escape them for a couple hours of the day. Some of you are being met or having the mirror placed up in front of you around, what kind of life have I created? What kind of relationship have I created? Do I like what I see? And we've been forced to go inward. We've been forced to go into this kind of like tight cocoon space And when we're in that tight cocoon space, that rough spot, this is also another word called a birthing pain. Ooh, okay. Let me go slow motion. Ooh, all right. Birthing pain. Think about it. When a woman has a baby, she not just sitting out there like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I'm just gonna bring this baby into earth and this baby is just it's gonna feel so good. She is not out there saying that, right? She is screaming her head off. She is like, get this baby out of me! She does not want that baby in here. She's like, I've been with this baby for 9 months. Do you think I want this baby in here a minute longer? A minute longer. That is the birthing pain. When you are in the breakthrough of your relationship, where you are in the friction of your relationship, where things don't seem to feel good, when the tension feels like it is building, when the resentment feels like it is growing and the relationship feels off and you are in question mode, you are wondering, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? How am I going to get through this? Can I live through this? When you are there, consider this your birth. When you are there, consider this your birth. You are about to birth someone that you want to see. Again, when you look into the mirror, do you like what you see? You're about to birth somebody that you want to see. This is the ascension point. This is the epitome of relationships. But what do we do with it when it happens? We run away. We break up with that person. We like, listen, I'm gonna need for you to get it together because I can't do this no more. Right? Right? Let me know, hashtag running, if you are a runner in your relationship. Put that in the comments below. Let me know if you done copped out in your relationship and left it alone, okay? It's okay if you have. There's no judgment. Okay? So when you're at that space and you're wondering, how am I gonna get through this birth? What do you do? What does that mother do when she's told to birth? What does the doctors and the midwives all tell her to do when she's getting close to the end phase of that pregnancy? They tell her to do what? Rest. They tell her to rest. Rest, okay? This is the key. When you are at the friction point, your body is asking you to rest. When you are going through the birthing pain of your relationship and you are about to birth a new aspect of who you are and what you want to see, rest. Take care of yourself. Nourish yourself. This is the time where you get a chance to look at yourself and decide, who am I? Who am I about to become? Who do I want to become? What do I need to let go of in order to make space for something new? What do I need to sacrifice in order for more new energy to come in? Because how many of you know, the ones who've been married for a long time, you know that you can get to that beautiful space again where it's right, it's just feeling good, it's fluid, it's good all the time again. You get to those tension points and then right over the tension edge, you go, I can breathe. Yeah, one nest. Breathe, right? Rest equals breathing. And guess what? When we breathe, we allow. And when we allow, we expand. And when we expand, guess what? We grow. That is the key. So don't run away just yet. You're in the middle of your breakthrough. Somebody say, God, give me a breakthrough. Type that comment and type that in the comment section. Let us know, God, give me a breakthrough. All right? When you are in your darkest moments, when you are in the space where you want to give up, when you say, I'm done, I'm ready to throw in the towel, divorce is on the table, right? Breakup is on the table. Separation is on the table. When you are in those moments, you literally, that's when spirit comes in and says, I'm trying to give you another way out. If you will just let me do this work, I need you to stop doing it and fall back. I need you to surrender so that you can go through this darkness. And the only way to go through this darkness is to breathe, is to rest, is to nourish yourself, take care of yourself, be self-focused. How many of you have been in a long-term relationship and know that self-focus is the way to make that relationship work? You got to also focus on yourself. If you are constantly giving to that other person out of balance, at some point somebody gonna be resentful. Somebody gonna be like, I'm not getting what I want. I'm not getting what I need. Yeah, God, thanks for the breakthrough. God, give me a breakthrough. Yeah, yeah, right. Thank you. Right. So, when you are going through this rest phase, when you're going through that dark phase, think of the butterfly. How many of you know the story of a butterfly? Right? How does a butterfly get here? It starts off as a larvae and it goes into its cocoon. It's a very thick shell around its cocoon. And this butterfly stays in that dark, tight cocoon space for a long period of time, right? Like that's just what it does. And then that thick shell that's around the butterfly starts to get a little bit lighter as that butterfly starts to grow. So it moves from the larvae and it starts to grow wings. But it's not out of the shell yet. It's just looking through the veil. It's like, okay, I feel my wings, but I'm looking through the shell. I can see it. And then that butterfly starts to break out of that shell. And did you know that it is painful to break out of that shell? There is blood that comes out. They start breaking little bones, little ligaments. It's a very vicious cycle if you've never watched a YouTube video. I suggest go watch a YouTube video on how this butterfly comes out of its cocoon, right? And then once it literally falls out of this thin sheath that it's been wrapped in for however long it's been wrapped in, then those wings expand and they are now an entire butterfly. But did they start out that way? No. They started out as something different, but they had to break away an old part of who they were in order to be the butterfly that they desired to be. But it required them to go inward. It required them to experience friction. So why do we think we are any different when we are in the tight, rough space and the darkness of our relationships? Be the butterfly. Go inward for a moment. That is what allows for us to come up and out of this friction to get to that limerence point, that little honeymoon phase again that we also love and crave, okay? So when we're in those low spaces, remember you are being primed for ascension. You are being primed for ascension. Where you were before, you are being asked if you want to go back or do you want to try something different? You want to go back to where you just left from, or do you want to try something different? Because we all know that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again, expecting a different result. So you want to go right back out of that pain that you were just in, starting over and over and over again? So for some of us folks, that rest looks like the separation, and it's okay. For some of us folks, that looks like breaking up and getting back together. For some folks, rest looks like sleeping for days or crying for days. For some folks, it looks like silence. For some folks, it looks like isolation. For some folks, it looks like prayer, meditation, counseling, getting some coaching, reading a book, listening to some podcasts, going inward, learning some new tools. That's what rest looks like. So when you're in friction, your answer is to go in. Ask yourself, am I ready to see me? And if the answer is yes, if yes is I'm ready to see me, then what am I willing to let go of and what am I willing to now learn in order to propel me forward? What is Spirit trying to show me so that I can see myself in the mirror? What do I need to shift about my reality in order to bring something new to my reality? Okay? Yeah. All right, so we got that. So let's move on to the third ascension key. This is a beautiful one right here, and I'm going to put it in the comments section. But the third ascension key for relationship alchemy is I am the creator of my life. Therefore, I am friction worthy. I am the creator of my life, and therefore, I am friction worthy. So what do you think this is saying, right? If I'm God, and I created all this, then aren't I open to the things that bring me some struggle? Aren't I open to the things that make me feel a little uncomfortable? Aren't I open to the things that are being placed in front of me to get me to take a pause and to take a look? When you say I am friction worthy, what you're saying is I'm willing to grow. I open my arms. I surrender to the growth. Because I know that there's nothing out here harming me. I know that there's nothing out here against me because I'm God. I created this. I created the you that I see in me. I created the me that I see in you. So therefore, how could you harm me? How could you be against me if I am you? Am I against myself? Right? This is how we choose to shift. Stop seeing people as toxic. Stop seeing people as the problem. Stop seeing people as the ones that need all the fixing and the help. What about you? Right? Would you call yourself God toxic? Would you call yourself God a problem? Would you call yourself God a narcissist? Would you call yourself God with whatever negative judgment that you're giving to the next person? Type a comment and let me know if you would do this. One for, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm a judge God. Or no, I'm not, right? Two, type a two for a no, okay? Let me also know in the comment and say, my life is friction worthy. My life is friction worthy. If you are claiming that your life is friction worthy, let us know. Let us all be in alignment with this, okay? I'm friction worthy, yeah, right? So this is a hard mirror to look at, right? When you're looking at the other person and they literally are the mirror. I wish I had a mirror in front of me. Am I going to see a reflection of somebody else, or am I going to see me in the mirror? If you see somebody else, then we probably need to talk, okay? But if you see in yourself, then that's all you got, right? So all relationships, we project and we reflect each other. That's the nature of relationships. We are projecting an image onto that person, and then they are reflecting it back to us. This is called mirror. That is how mirrors work, okay? This is how we know we are growing. When we look at a person in front of us and they are reflecting back to us who we want to be, we see all the healthiness that we desire. We see all the supportive behaviors that they provide. That's because that's us. That's because that's you. If they're not reflecting back to us what we want to see, if they're reflecting back to us something we don't want to see, it's the same exact thing, right? So here's my idea of what a mirror looks like, right? You see, I think each person is a hologram, okay? No one truly really exists because each person is essentially us. They're our reflection. So if we are attracted to somebody and we decide we want to be in a relationship with somebody, then what we're saying is I'm attracted to me. I'm attracted to myself. I'm attracted to the qualities and the aspects that you hold within you that are now a reflection of me. So when we see the other person, we essentially are looking at us and we become attracted to them. And it's because it's to remind us of how much we are God. And that's why we are attracted to that person, right? You're being placed with that person to see not only the good things that they bring to the table, but you're also seeing some of the things that you just don't like. And that's God saying, but guess what? I'm all things. I'm not just one aspect of who you think I am. That's why I said unconditional love, not loving from the conditioned space of I'm only going to love you if you do these right things for me, only if you're good around this thing for me, and only if you show up in this way for me. God didn't say that. The ego said that, but God did not, right? Somehow along the line, we got so connected to people being our property, being our ownership, being someone that becomes our project, that we forget that that person is with us in order to remind us that we are God and that they are God. and that the purpose of this relationship is growth, and that the purpose of this relationship is unconditional love, okay? So let's talk about what attraction looks like, because under this guise of being friction worthy and your life being friction worthy, the fact that you're creating your life starts with what you see. It starts with the way that you're attracted to the other person. It starts with your magnetism. So attraction is based on a few things. The first thing that it's based on is all of the person's best qualities. These are all the things you love about that person. Is all the things that makes you go, hell yeah. It's the thing that makes you feel drawn into that person. That's what you know. You're like, I like this person. Remember at the beginning when we're at in that first part of a relationship and we want to brag on these people, we want to share the information, we want to tell everybody about this person, and we want to believe in all their goals. It's because we're looking at all their best qualities. We're like, they're so much like me, right? And then when we start to get comfortable, we start to go, oh, based on now that I'm seeing you and all these happy chemicals are not here, I can think clearly. I can see a little bit more detail now, right? And the second way that we're attracted to this person is based on all the things we absolutely don't like. It's based on all the things we don't like about them. And the reason why is because it's what you know, right? We grow up in families. We have parents that raise us. We have a world and a society that teaches us, and it conditions us. It creates patterns in our subconscious memory. It creates a narrative of how things should be, how things should look, how a person should operate, right? So we're comfortable with what we know. Not with what we want, but with what we know. I'll give you an example of this. Some people will say, I want to manifest $1 million. I want to manifest $1 million. But if you have never seen anybody manifest $1 million, you didn't grow up with it, nobody taught you how to be a millionaire, nobody taught you the steps it took and the lifestyle that was needed in order to get you to a millionaire status, then how are you going to do that if you don't have the subconscious memory embedded inside of you to attract something new? How? Right? This is the very same thing for us in relationships. In order to manifest something new, you have to create a new memory inside of you. You have to rewrite the old script of what you have been taught. But first, you have to look at this person to know what it is that you don't like so that you can go ahead and rewrite it. That's why you're attracted to them. You're attracted to the things you like. You're attracted to the things you don't like. And the things you don't like are specifically the conditionings and the patterns, okay? And then the last part, the third thing of why we are attracted to this person is simply because they exhibit some of the worst qualities that we think are worst qualities that is within us. And we go, you know what, God, if you keep doing this to me, I don't know if I can be in another relationship. I'm gonna need for you to just take care of this, right? It's because they're highlighting the parts of us that we have been judging. We've been looking at other people in the world and placing our finger on it and saying, I'll never be that person. I'll never do this thing. I've never done that in my life. I won't ever do this. We consider these the worst qualities. We consider this the evil. We consider this the bad. These are the things that when we see it, we don't like it, right? These are the three reasons why we are attracted to a person. This is the chemical cocktail that gives us just enough attraction tension to make us fall in love with the person. That gives us just enough tension, attraction tension, to make us feel good about this person. And usually we stay in 2 or 3. We forget all the things we liked, remember? And we go back to the things we don't like, okay? So if God is saying, I'm bringing this person to you to remind you that I created everything, you are the creation of everything, everything that exists is because of the lens that I've given to you, then that means that there's no such thing as the bad, the ugly, the evil, the good. It just is. So will you accept the friction that I'm bringing to you to help you see something new about yourself? Will you allow yourself to grow beyond this tiny, minute conditioning of love? Will you expand your definition of love to something that's more unconditional? Will you do that? I'm bringing this person into your life to show you how. And in order to get beyond that, you've got to practice empathy. So this is the antidote for getting through all of these ascension keys. Empathy. Okay, let me explain to you what empathy looks like. Because sometimes we think we're empathetic, but we're not. And I'm going to tell you what it looks like and what it doesn't look like, okay? Here's what empathy is. It's two things, okay? It's understanding, literally choosing to understand the person. And then the second part of empathy is relatability. Relatability. Understanding and relatability. Empathy looks like, you know what, I understand what you're going through because I've been there too. I know exactly what that looked like because of this situation that happened before, right? Sometimes when we are in this relatability space and when we don't actually do it in the way that's going to be supportive for the person, we end up trying to fix them. We end up trying to give them solutions, and we think that that's empathy. I'm just trying to tell you. I mean, if you would just listen to me, I just try to tell you, right? How many of y'all heard somebody say that to you? Or maybe you said it to somebody else. I'm just trying to. I just love you, and I just want the best for you, and I'm just trying to tell you what to do about this situation. And you think you being compassionate, and you think you being empathetic because you love that person, and all that person is really hearing is how they're still the problem, how they're still not good enough, how they're still disapproving, how they're still not acceptable enough, right? That is not empathy, right? Release that definition of empathy and stand in a definition of how can I relate to this person, even if you can't relate to them in the exact way. That's not the point. The point is to relate to them in a similar way. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about, right? I work with a lot of couples where infidelity is just one of the biggest things. How am I supposed to love this person again? How are we supposed to move past this infidelity? How am I supposed to trust them? And they just lie to me. They just lie to me, right? Well, if I'm looking at the mirror, and remember, I'm God. If I'm looking at the mirror and I'm asking myself, how did I create this? If you're me and you're my reflection, how in the world did I create this person who I thought was supposed to be honest with me, but they lied and they cheated and they stepped out and they betrayed my trust? How? Right? And now you telling me to have empathy for them? How? Right? The way you do that is you find an area in your life where you can actually relate to the aspects and the qualities of what they've done. So maybe you've never cheated in a relationship before, but have you cheated on a test? Have you lied to somebody that you love and told them a different story just so that they wouldn't get mad? Haven't you done that? I mean, am I wrong or am I right? Which one is it, y'all? Tell me. Let me know in the comments, right? But because some condition told you love doesn't look like cheating, love doesn't look like infidelity, you as a person, who you are and your self-worth, you're better than that. Don't stay with that person. You're better than somebody cheating on you. Somebody told you that your worth was defined on another person's fidelity. Now, why is that? How could that be? That doesn't exist. If I'm God and you're God, then aren't I going to love you regardless of what you've done? Aren't I going to love you beyond the lies that you've told? Aren't I going to love you beyond what I feel is betrayal? Aren't I going to love you? So if I don't like what you're doing, what do I need to do? I need to go in, create a new story. Because if I'm looking through the lens, let me get my fan up here. Like, right, okay, if I'm looking through the lens and all I can see is what is in front of me, but I can't really see the person, this is the only thing I can see. I'm like, oh man, my screen looks orange. I wonder why it's orange. I can't really see anybody. Oh, there you are, right? If I'm looking through my lens of the conditioning that has taught me that love looks a certain way, that because you're not supposed to act a certain way, in a relationship, because this is what I've been taught about how relationships should work. If I'm looking through that lens, then I need to let the fan down, look beyond the fan, and try to see something a little bit more clear. Try to look at the situation a little bit more, being more open with it. Right? You got to create a new reality. You got to create a new reality. This is literally the very essence of Gandhi's quote, famous quote, right? Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. Type that in the comments. Be the change you want to see in your relationships. If I expect you to not lie to me, then where do I need to clean up my lies? I might not be lying in a relationship, but maybe I'm lying on my taxes. Maybe I'm lying to my boss. Maybe I'm lying to my friends. If I don't want you to lie to me, then how can I release that within me so that I can make space for something bigger than what I already see in front of me? If I want authenticity, I need to give authenticity. If I want vulnerability, I need to give vulnerability. If I want presence, then I need to be present with my nurturing. Okay? Be the change that you want to see in your life. Be the change that you want to see in the world. Be the change that you want to see in your relationships. Because the person is not here to be, to cause you suffering. They're literally here to remind you that you're God. They're literally here to remind you that you are God. And if I am God and you are God, and the sole purpose of our connection is unconditional love, then that means the work that we get to do here on this planet together is to work down the conditions that we have been taught by society, that we have been taught by the people who've raised us, that we have been taught by the world at large. And the only way for me to do that is to do what? Rest. Go in. Change the narrative. Be something different. Create a new storyline. Rewrite the subconscious. Change the timeline. Change the script. So if I am to be the change that I want to see in the world, I must first acknowledge that my world is inside of me. That the world is within. There is no world outside of here. Sorry, there's no world outside of here. If we believe that there is a world that we must be afraid of, that we must live in fear from, then why create that world? Choose to believe something new about what you want to see. Choose to see that God is in all people, not just the ones that look like you and me, not just the ones that act like you and me, not just the ones that talk and vibrate like you and me. Choose to see God is in the exiled too. Choose to see that God is in the chaos too. Choose to see God in the friction of it all. And when you can see this, when you can know this, then guess what? You can be this. All right? Thank you, everybody, for paying attention. Thank you for listening. Thank you for going through these 3 ascension keys of alchemy with me, relationship alchemy. I'm going to go over them one last time so that you have them if you didn't write them down, okay? Just so that you know what they are. Okay, and the very first relationship ascension key here is everything in this life is put here to grow me. Nothing in this life is put here against me, even if it feels incongruent to what I believe and how I'm living. All right, that's ascension key number 1. Ascension key number 2, in order to grow, friction is necessary. Problems don't exist, just opportunities for growth. All right, you got that? Oh yeah, cool. Thank you, Don. All right, and ascension key number 3. I am the creator of my life. Therefore, I am friction worthy. Okay? You got all of those. All right. And so for those of you who want to actually apply these things, right? These are very high mindsets, okay? It's going to take some tools to make this be actual in your relationship. And so this is something that is paramount. For those of you who want to do the work, that's what I'm here to do. I've created a monthly mentorship program for any woman who wants to go through and do this actual work. It's literally $33 a month, okay? Go to my website at theselflovecenter.com. Check it out. I would love for you to do this work because listen, this solar year that we are in, it is the soldier season. This is warrior season. So for those of you who have been feeling the friction, which all of you have on some level of pandemic, right? You are about to be that butterfly that you have asked yourself to be. So that means I want to work, we need to work together in your relationships. Let's get your relationships online so that you can actually have healthy, fulfilling relationships so that you can stop feeling like you just have some bad partnership picking skills, okay? Let's do this work. Go to theselflovecenter.com, sign up for that monthly mentorship program. I want to work with you so that we can do this work together, so that we can ascend together, so that we can change the world through our relationships. Okay? All right, beautiful souls. Thank you so much. Thank you, Denadra. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Hillside, for allowing me to be a part of this.